welcome to all here. My name is Priyankha from grade 8, studying in the Indian Public School, Trichy. But before I start, I want to ask you one small question. Have you ever been in a situation where something felt really unfair, but you did not know what to say or how to react? Raise your hands if you felt this. Thank you. In these moments, that sudden feeling of confusion, fear, anxiety, or even stress is something that I've experienced a lot. And it made me realize that my rights is something I really important need to know. At one point, when I first learned about human rights, I thought they were only for adults or people in big courtrooms. Yes, I'm talking about politicians, big leaders, or even celebrities. But the hard truth is, every single one of us has rights. I mean every single one of us. You, me, and every other community. Let it be small or big, everyone has rights. Some simple activities we do today may just seem like tasks, wouldn't it? But the freedom of knowing our rights, and when we realize this, you might actually think what we all do today is all because of the power of knowing your rights. For example, we get the freedom today to go to school. We have safe transport, good equipment for our knowledge, and an amazing environment to learn in. But in some countries, we don't even have that. Not because of the environment, not because of technology, but people can express their rights. Let me tell you a story. Once, a classmate of mine was bullied for the way he dressed. A lot of people laughed at him. Some stood in corners whispering, and while the rest stared at him but didn't say anything. Later, a teacher came to our class and told us that defending against discrimination doesn't just make you a better person. You're helping him to defend his rights. A lot of people may just think that rights is something to debate in arguments, but the truth is, these rights are what help us strengthen ourselves, empower ourselves, and set boundaries to limit ourselves from unfair situations. Now, a lot of people may just think, what's a right? What's the purpose of knowing these rights? Well, these rights are the whole reason we attain our freedom today. These rights are not just these simple small activities we do. They shape our future. The activities we do today, choosing our next activity, eating the food we want, going to school, having privacy, or even using social media, this all comes from rights. Now, I just want to ask one small thing. Have you ever felt yourself asking, what are my rights and what are the purpose of these? Well, the more I talk about rights, I feel you would have this question. How did we get our rights? Well, here in India, we have something known as the Constitution of India. This ensures that every citizen here has a right to set boundaries and attain a certain level of freedom. We have a ton of rights, and I mean a lot. So, let me tell you the simple ones in a clear way. First is the right to equality. This right ensures every person cannot be discriminated or treated differently just because of their age, gender, where they're born, caste, background, or even their beliefs. Then we have the right to freedom. This right ensures every person has a right to do what they want, as long as they don't go above or under the law. These simple activities we do, as I explained earlier, is all because of our freedom. Going to school, right to freedom. Choosing what I need to speak next, right to freedom. Or even using a phone, social media, or even involving to the digital world. This is all because of the right to freedom. And remember, the freedom we get today must be used wisely. Then we have the right to education. Before I start this right, let me remind you one thing. Education is not just a privilege, it's a gift. And this gift we must use wisely and carry it on to our future generation. The right to education means that every person has the right to learn basic education till the age of 14. Let me tell you an amazing story. Once, I read about this boy. He was 9 years old and had aspiring dreams to become a pilot, but he couldn't because of his family's financial crisis. Later, an NGO, also known as a non-governmental organization, approached the child's family and told him about the right to education. Later, that boy was admitted in a government school, and he came out smiling, cheering, and so happy he could move a step closer to his dream of being a pilot. Then we have the right against exploitation. This right ensures no person is forced to do work that they don't give their consent or will in. This applies to everyone, let it be male, female, children, or even small babies. They have rights to deny on something which is forced upon them without their consent. This is mostly aimed for children on the vital concept of child labor, and this right ensures this never happens. Then we have the right to constitutional remedies. Did you know Dr. Ambedkar, also known as the father of our constitution, called this right the heart and soul of our constitution? Isn't that fascinating? I thought so too. This right aims that any person has the right to seek court or approach help if a right or a boundary they have set was broken. And now everyone's voice can't be silenced. But when I talk about rights, you might think, how can I use these in daily life? You may search on the internet, but you would see another column, fundamental rights. But what are fundamental rights? Fundamental rights are the simple duties we do every day, which helps promote our country, India, into a healthy and eco-friendly organization. Let me give you some examples. Respecting the national flag, respecting the national anthem, these can all contribute to fundamental rights. Even some activities as small as promoting peace and harmony in your community, let it be big communities or small communities or even communities that are yet to grow, promoting these peace and harmony around it can cause a big change, and that promotes a lot to these fundamental rights. But one thing I realized after knowing my rights is knowing your rights aren't just enough. It matters on the way you use it. Let me tell you a story. Once, in my class, we had a debate, and this debate was eagerly requested for a period of 2 months. Yes, you heard me, 2 months. And this was such a long time for my class requesting a debate. And today, when we finally got it, our class was extremely excited and hyper. Later, we had started the debate, and a lot of students started using harsh language. Later, a teacher came to our class and requested us, saying that she values our opinion, but the way we express it matters. Just like rights and this debate, it doesn't matter how well you know your rights, let alone you could be a lawyer, future politician, or even a big organization owner. But just knowing these rights isn't enough. You must learn how to use them responsibly and wisely in your daily life situation. Sometimes we think things as small or some as way too big. But in these rights, they shape our future, and they prove us that setting boundaries doesn't need to be so strict or harsh. It's only when you know when something is fair and unfair and something feels right. Once, I had a friend of mine. She was really shy and never would speak up for anything. Later, I asked her about it after class, and she said she feels scared to talk to people because she feels she wouldn't be heard. And that made my heart really sad. At one point, I realized that the right we get today to be safe, to be treated equally, or even to have privilege is just as important to be heard. The freedom of getting heard is very important. Being able to speak up is a big privilege, and I know a lot of people who are not able to do that. And what we have the privilege to speak today, we must use it in an organized and responsible manner. A lot of people might just think, rights are just to debate. Rights only help us when we're in trouble. But these rights doesn't just mean to fight, go against people, or just commit violence. At the end, this is aimed to prove and help to build a sustainable and a healthy future for all of us. I don't just mean the small community we have here. I mean the whole of India, maybe globally, internationally, everywhere. Everyone should know their rights. And these rights aren't something so small to be heard of. So let me remind you one thing. Rights are not just gifts or privileges. They belong to us simply because we're human. And just knowing these rights doesn't give us the privilege to go against someone or think you're higher or maybe even lower, because we all have them simply because we're human. So let me remind you now, when a voice is too small to speak, you still have a chance to use your voice. And that voice is what's gonna help you till our future and even globally, wherever you are. Let it be home, school, outside, everywhere we must know our rights. So today, let me remind you one thing. The privilege of knowing our rights today is really needed in this generation. So let us know our rights and remember to speak up when it's hard, to respect when it's easy to judge, and remember that no one's voice is too small to matter. Thank you.